Alright, I can take a hint. More pelting with rancid tomatoes, even after I was blown up to assorted body parts. Philistines. I hear my consciousness mock me with, "They're stick figures, DC. Stick figures that you drew to hate your work as part of your grand reverse psychology scheme. What did you expect?" I can't be bothered to argue with me consciousness. My emotional state's in a flux, and my repartee is as good as sapped, so I just tell my consciousness to just shut up or I'll drown it with gin, which I'm planning on doing anyway. Thank God for inventing weekends and public getaways. One 45-minute ride on a 38 crew bus later, and I'm home sweet home. Having barely survived the rigours of manual labour and migraine-inducing paperwork yet another week, I found myself ambushed by a small group of anonymous YouTube punters who demanded refunds off me for being made to sit through my awful poems on stage. And me, being the honourable chap I am, I legged it, being chased by online detractors and grocery store owners who hailed me with the squishy fruit of rancid hate. I lock the door behind me, wipe the remains of tomato off my hat and cloak, and leave them outside for the air to take away the stench. The next half hour is a relaxing trance of showers, tea, and putting the dishes away, before I go upstairs for my emergency kip. Going to bed at 11 to be up for 6 in the morning. I've got to stop living like this. I suppose I could use my powers to whip me up a nice chicken tikka masala served on a silver platter with a pint of champagne, all the while travelling first class on the Flying Scotsman throughout the Rocky Mountains with Basil Brush, Michelle Yeoh, Catherine Tate, Stone Cold Steve Austin and Prime Minister Jeremy Clarkson as my honoured guests, with Mum's homemade chocolate fudge cake and Haagen-Dazs ice cream for afters. But I can't be bothered. To be frank, I can't be fucking arsed. My brain's deader than... Can't even think of a witty statement anymore. How enslaved I've become to dead-end routine of common man. Brain fatigue, body fatigue, soul fatigue, Asperger syndrome fatigue, and fatigue in general all overwhelm me as I take the Ric Flair comedy fall down onto my comfy mattress and let the wonderful blackness envelop me like smothering hippos. Morning already? Oh, Nadgers, I've missed tea. My inability to take things seriously fades when I look around me. Grey void, the infinite dull abyss of non-imagination, the rut of fate that befalls so many. The writer's block. I'm trapped here. No, I can't be. I have so many ideas, so many things I want to bring life, so many names to give to people, so many children to give birth to. I can't stall now. Then in my panic, the truth dawns on me. The writer's block is grey for a reason. It's made of clay, waiting for the hands of eager consciousness and unknowing subconscious to sculpt and breathe life into. This prison, this naughty box, is what I've sentenced myself to, as subconscious punishment for stalling. If the Inquisitor off Red Dwarf was here now, he'd be telling me to justify my existence instead of me. What contributions have I made to society? What have I done with the superlative gift that is life? Written a few audiobooks, published my novel, The Saviour, after so many years of hard work, got it onto shop shelves, done book signings, been in papers, written and animated my own crappy web cartoon show, visited Agatha Christie's house, met Simon Drew, and that was all last year. Things to be proud of, perhaps. certainly in the eyes of others. So why do I feel as empty and as lifeless as this grey, uninspiring box I'm trapped in? Maybe it's because, in actuality, I've done so little, when I can do so much more. Turn my imagination powers into dreams of living reality, and not just some more science fiction fantasy. All this ambition that I have, yet no will or know how to properly achieve my goals. Am I ever going to marry? Am I ever going to see my name in light like Mr. Anchovy? Am I ever going to be able to buy packets of fruitang ever again? Sad questions like these torment me every waking second, from switch on to switch off. But as much of a curse my Asperger's is, it's also a blessing. Without it, I would never have survived school, finished college, or known what I wanted to do with my life. So much inspiration and ideas buzzing in my beehive brain. Without it, all my poems, my Kingdom Hearts fanfiction, Nameless for Saviour, and DC Wood's awful poems on stage may never have come to light. I look at my feet on the ground after this Winnie the Pooh think period to see if the writer's block has reacted in any way to my subconscious. I'm simultaneously bemused and pleased that it has. I'm now standing dead centre in a crossroads, my paths paved in tarmac, each splitting endlessly north, east, south and west from my position. Everything else, just miserable, uninspired grey. All commonplace, mandatory settings for the right story. A sky, a landscape, weather, a breeze blowing against my face like some cliched Mills and Boon shite. I'm wishing for any scenario right now to get out of this godforsaken writer's block and continue the story. But my mental pleas fall on my own deaf ears. My will remains as comatose as ever. So I start walking forward, north. The path behind me has already led me to this place. I can't go back without starting all over again. I've come too far already, and I feel stretched between left and right as it is, so I might as well go forward, venturing deeper into my own void judgment. I wonder how long I've been walking, struggling for the clay to take shape into something to motivate me into pulling my finger out. Can't even conjure up my watch to tell me the time. Trying to combat the monotony, I blink my eyes. I'm surprised and somewhat relieved to have conjured up my excellent Apple Mac. Cheers again, Steve Jobs. It floats before me in thin air, mesmerising me as though someone's lowering it into my grasp on puppet strings. That's when I start to feel a little spark at the back of my neck. It wants to travel up my cerebellum and ignite the whole of my brain into overdrive. With instinct, my desk materialises out of the ground for my laptop to rest on. I sit down, summoning my fateful chair into view. Slowly but surely, the crossroads in the writer's block morphs into a woolly blue carpet. The whole void of grey condenses from block to room. My room. Back in the swing of things, I power up my laptop. iTunes is up and running, blasting out Doctor Who soundtracks, then breathless by the cause, through my awesome Bose speakers. I open up the viewer and start browsing through my files. Abandoned ideas, Amazon reviews, poems, completed prose and ongoing projects. Still wondering what to do next. I just start typing out any old gibberish, wondering if this mad, incoherent, loquacious drivel of eloquence will actually form something beyond a comment for Facebook and YouTube. My consciousness wants to fight, it wants to achieve. Like Henry the Green Engine on a bad day, it's a slow burner and wants to get moving you. But my subconscious has an even greater desire for reshaping the writer's block, its own design for the imagination clay, which is stronger, greater, and more sinister. Patch! Red light explodes through the floor of my bedroom. Fear instantly overrides every cell. No, Every atom of my existence has insanely bright energy erupts before me, incinerating carpet and floorboard into nothing. I shield my eyes as I fly off my chair. The ceiling and walls splinter into debris that swirls round me like a vortex in space. I can't believe I've just imagined a concept as grossly impossible as that. Yet, that's what I'm now seeing, as the grey abyss is now pitch black, patterned with Polaris and all his fellow cousins. Gales of air somehow dance round this event at F5 speeds in deep space. I cling to what's left of my desk for dear life as my prized computer and chair become lost to the stars. I can't breathe because I don't want to imagine it. I don't want to reimagine the nightmare that I've shelved. Yet I'm reliving it here and now. My subconscious has turned on me, using the future to override my will, my life. The debris of my room continues to decorate the vortex as a red, shining mass of energy, pulsating like a heart, splits into 5, attracting wood, brick, plaster, wallpaper, glass, plastic, and all other available material like a magnet. The sight is awe-inspiring, horrific, sculpting itself like imagination clay. Purge! The voices scream again, sewn together in beautiful harmony. My fabricated soldiers, the future I one day hope to realise. Creator! You've dared to forget us! No! I screamed defiantly, amazed at how my fear and indecision has now transformed into bold mastery. I meant to finish your story, show and tell it to the world, but I... Excuses! Primitive denials of execution from a relic of matter who has tainted our supremacy by bringing us life in your fiction! You can't survive without me. You need me to bring light to your story. You have deliberately let your mind wander into the writer's block. Your subconscious now holds dominion, and it will destroy you. We are now destined to share and accept your fate. And so they rise, the debris having now liquidized, flowing round the energy spores. The material shapes and solidifies into organic, metallic, misshapen bodies. The exposed sentient energy, Sentigy, I remember calling it, pulsates in their exposed chest. The great holes in their heads, where faces should be. They chant, "Purge! Purge! Purge! Purge!" at me, screaming inside my head with telepathic death threats, determined to exorcise me as per their nature. I've delayed their story, but not the inevitable. As my imagination turns on me, the Malevecore have finally arrived.